Welcome to a brand new podcast, CHaz Kicks Off. It's a weekend in review of the heroes and zeros, basically, with none other than the straight shooter himself, Charlie Austin, literally the straight shooter. Okay, as I said, it is a brand new podcast, and we're in the company of the main man, Charlie Austin. Charlie, how are you?
I'm all good, thank you, mate. I am all good. Weekend was here, ups and down on the old results. Liverpool weren't too good, so disappointed that side, mate.
Yeah, got to be. I mean, you look at it. Let's. I mean, what we're here to do is just to try and point out. I mean, what we love about you is you tell it like it is. You say it straight. You don't dress it up. But so we're going to look for the weekend's heroes and zeros. And for week one, it's pretty easy. We'll get into it. But I suppose the big winners this weekend are Arsenal, aren't they?
Oh, massive winners. Like, you look at the results, and it kind of works both ways, right? If you're the early kickoff on the Saturday or the Friday night, you're thinking, right, put the pressure on. Let's win and put the pressure on. But then you kick off at R4 on the Sunday, and you're thinking, as the opposition seems like the team's chasing them, right, we got to put the pressure on Arsenal. We got to put the pressure on. And then when it comes to that Sunday morning, when you've seen all the results go that way, as players, they're thinking, right, we can make that gap bigger now. We can really make that gap bigger. And look, the dominant performance they put in over Tottenham yesterday was superb.
Absolutely. Let's rewind to the beginning of the weekend. I mean, the big question is, I mean, what's happening at Liverpool? I mean, I just can't put my finger on it. A team that is champions, and everyone's got a theory, Charlie. Everyone says, oh, they've got new players, they're bedding in. I mean, we're coming up to Christmas now, and I mean, if you're looking at that record of a manager, is he under fire? I mean, if you're further down the table than that, you're under pressure, aren't you?
I think he's got a little bit of leeway because of winning the Premier League, right?
Yep.
But winning it on his first season. However, expectation is backing it up, right? Like, how much longer can this continue? Because you're not seeing progress and the team progressing on from last season, let alone adding the players that you have done and spent 450 million. Yes, come out and said, oh yeah, but we've inherited, we brought into the club another 200. Yeah, that's fine, but no one worries about the 250 million. You spent 450 big ones, mate. You broke the British transfer twice. You can't get them in the team. Like, they can't play. We're trying to fit them in, and it's just not working. Isak, argument's sake, listen, you're a centre forward and you need that first goal in the Premier League to get yourself going. But he's Premier League proven, right? He's done it.
Absolutely.
Newcastle, Premier League. Florian Wirtz has come in, 115 million. Everyone can say, oh, you can get time. You've got to give them time. You've got to get... How much time? You're a £115 million player, mate.
Yeah, I mean, listen, going back to Isak, though, I've got to say, because obviously we watched it so many times at Newcastle, and like Haaland, he'll go through games and he has, he could do nothing for 60 or 70 minutes, but he'll score you 2 goals. And there's no doubt in my mind he will come good.
Same, but, I mean, that, right? On that. And I'm with you. There's no doubt in mind he'll come good. However, Liverpool are a very different team to Newcastle. Let's be very clear. The style of play Liverpool play and the style of play Newcastle play is completely different. You even look at the weekend, Newcastle City, the balls in that first half. Voldemar had a couple of chances to heading towards goal. You think that's what Isak was score 4 or 5 headers last season, right? Liverpool are playing inverted wingers, so that's not happening.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, you've got 2 wingers who they want to come in and have a go and goal with Gakpo and Salah, right?
Yeah, and the hardest thing is how are you meant to say anything against Salah for the numbers he's put up over the years? Goals and assists, phenomenal, coming in, whipping in the top corner, being a full glory match winner, and then for him then to all of a sudden to kind of change part of his game. It's more Isak's going to have to buy into what Salah's trying to do, what Gakpo's trying to do on the left. The hard bit for it is, and what's overshadowing Isak's scenario and putting more pressure on him, is Hugo Ekitike. He cost 80 plus million, and he's coming in at the ground running. Yeah, he got sent off for stupidity against Southampton in the League Cup, right? And he showed his youngster and his petulance taking his shirt off after CHaz had done all the hard work. But he's been phenomenal for Liverpool since he's come in, and he's kind of took it duck to water.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I mean, I look at, but the problem as well. I mean, it's not just up. It's not just up top, Charlie. You're looking at the back. I mean, I was
Well,
looking
this
at
is
Van Dijk. I'm looking at Van Dijk, and he's blaming everyone but himself.
I think this is the key part. Also, he's the captain of the football club, right? And he has been phenomenal since he's come through the door. There's no way about it. You can't say anything about him, right? Showing he's a world class centre half. The issue is that they were so cemented in that back four. Andy Robertson left back, Trent right back, Canate and Van Dijk solid in the middle. Even Joe Gomez coming in with John Matip. The back four was solid, right? Well, we got rid of the fullbacks. Almost. Robertson's, yes, still there. But Kirker's coming at left back, brilliant for Bournemouth, but different kettle of fish playing for Liverpool to Bournemouth, different set of eyes on you every mistake, because Maid is highlighted. And Canate is now in a contract situation where he's going to be up at the end of the season. Well, some players can deal with it a lot better than others. And certainly Canate is having one. He can't deal with it. You can tell the outside noise, whoever's speaking to him, the people around him, his mind is elsewhere. And it's showing it on the pitch and his performances. Go to Salah and Van Dijk, for argument's sake. They had a year left to go and the contract situation was going on. Well, they performed. They performed week in, week out. So it wasn't actually an overall conversation by saying, oh, yeah, we need to worry about they've only got 1 year left. They're not performing, because they was performing 8, 9, 10s out of 10 every week. And Liverpool were top of the league. Canate, eyes are on, and he's playing terrible at the moment. My biggest thing also, Pete, and I've got to be honest with you, everybody, me included, Trent can't defend. Trent's vulnerable defending. Trent's vulnerable. Yeah. However, how much was he pivotal to that Liverpool team? Yes, going forward. Yes, supporting Mo Salah at the right, playing them long diagonal balls over to Gakpo on the left. Yes, but what about defensively? Because he must have been doing something right, because at the moment, Soberstai's playing in there at right back, trying to fit. He's a centre midfielder. You've had Conor Bradley's in there, a couple of injuries. Frimpong's come in and then got injured. And it's just like, I think you almost got to give Trent credit where credit's due defensively as well.
Yeah, you don't realise what you've got until it's gone, Charlie. Special mention for Dicey though, Sean and Ian Wone and Stoney. What a result for them. Do you think he's turned it round at Forest, or is it too early to say?
I think it's too early to say. / he has turned it around, right? Because what they had there, players wise, brilliant, right? They had the players in there. It was if they was going to buy into what he was bringing, him and his coaching staff and that. Because I worked with Sean, fantastic manager, fantastic man manager, gets you playing for him. And it's just something about him that's infectious, right? But you had a lot of nationalities in the team. And if you got a couple of Brazilians, etc., not really understanding what he's saying, or his voice where he's having a moan up, you never know, right? But clearly they have bought into what he's trying to do and his coaching staff. To say it's turning around, you have to say yes, but it's almost too early. Do I expect them to be down the bottom end? No, not at all.
Is he tough in training, the gaffer, Daichi?
Yeah, mate. And when obviously he looks, by the looks of it, what we've seen on the TV, he's kind of, when training images, he's kind of relaxed a little bit, mate. But when he first started, it was shin pads in training, no snooze, no woolly hat. To be fair, it was fundamentals. You train how you play, you wear in training what you wear in matches, and that was it. And I really enjoyed my time with him. I really did.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's move on. The other big game of the weekend as well, probably popped up a surprise, I would imagine, amongst everyone, every fan as well. Newcastle, Man City. It was a great game.
Massive game. Okay, right. You have to be straight here now. You're a big Newcastle fan, and you say, surprise, etc., etc. Home form's not a surprise. The away form's a surprise. But was you really thinking that when going into that game? Was you optimistic about the game, or were you thinking, do you know what? The point's a good result, or if we get beat 2-0, so that's what it is.
I'd have taken a point purely because at the home record had gone. I'd forgotten how good they were at home. My biggest worry was they were awful against Brentford, and they were even worse against West Ham. So I thought, look, City are starting to come good. And to be fair, it was probably one of the better games of the weekend because it was end to end, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that is the biggest thing. And how it went 0-0 at half time, mate. You know how many chances, both ends missing. Barnes misses one up there. There's a. So that's for a football fan watching. It's a big chance, a big opportunity. Should score. Premier League players should score, right? But it's not an easy. That's not an easy chance. Everyone said, "Oh, ball cut." That's whipped across with pace, of a wet surface. Yeah, he's got to make good contact and get it on site. He's made contact, it just hasn't gone in right. So credit where credit's due. Fast forward 10 minutes, and Foden, you could argue say, well, Foden should score as well at the other end, right? Yeah. But I was so impressed with Newcastle on Saturday. But you also look at it from a Newcastle perspective. And when the camera went on to Eddie and Jason, you're kind of looking at it thinking, we need to have a goal in before half time because they're giving us chances. We ain't scoring. We got to punish. And like I say, Voldemar, Donovan made 2 great saves from Voldemar, right?
Yeah, he keep out of world, didn't he?
Yeah, he had but that's in us world-class keepers, right? You expect that. One thing that people do understand it, people may not, as you look at it, when a team plays for a centre forward, you get the best out of a centre forward. What I mean by that is when you got wide players, fullbacks, centre midfielders trying to find, they see the threat. Yeah, we've seen what he's like with his feet, right? Really good hold-up play. But he is 6'6", 6 or so. How big is he, Pete? He's a big boy.
He's 6'6", yeah.
Yeah, so they're thinking, right, put it in the area, and we've got a centre forward that's going to attack the ball. Mate, it's an unbelievable save. He does everything right as a centre forward. He's up early, he's up high, headers it down. Ultimately, it's just a good save in the end.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? As well, I mean, obviously, Pep was. I think Pep was going up there thinking they were going to get a result, and he was obviously, annoyed at the end of it. But and then he's having a pop at Bruno, and Joe Linton's kicking off. And Pep's having a go at the cameraman as well. It was just it had a bit of everything, didn't it? It was a good game.
You see that from you want to see that from people though. The top, the elite. It hurts when you get beat.
Yeah.
I can't be all smiley. Oh, well played. Congratulations. Yeah. If you get beat, you got to be like, oh, you're like, yeah, let the better team win, all that. But you want to see a bit of fight and a bit of spice from them, right? And why? And also, going back to your point, saying Man City are on a run, etc. Why would they think they could go to Newcastle and get a result? Because if you're fighting for top spot, yeah, you've got to be controlled arrogance and going into it, but you've got to have that arrogant side about you. Top players, top teams, top managers, they do have that arrogant side about them. That's what makes them so different to everybody else.
And you look at those midfields as well, and that obviously you got Tonali and Bruno in there. And I thought they got a hold of the game early on in midfield, and that was a big difference.
The thing is, arguably, mate, they're that 3 in that middle of the park are arguably the best centre midfielders in the league. But let's not get away from it. Like we said, they got hold of the game, but what games haven't they? What games haven't they run? When they've got to really be together, them 3, they do get hold of the game and win. And what I like about them is is they have the very good housery about them. When they've got a
I love that.
Or high free kicks or whatever, they're big boys and they can put their foot in. But on the flip side, when they got to buy a foul or take the sting out of the game, they know exactly what they're doing.
Listen, so Chaz, why can't we do it away from home? What's the story? Is it just the fact that it's St James's Park and it's the fans and they go away from home and it's different, or it's just mind-boggling?
I think, mate, I've got to be honest with you. When you go away and you're on that run where you can't get a win, you do need a bit of lady luck on your side, right? That happens. You need a bit of luck. You certainly do. But sometimes you just can't put your finger on it. Playing phenomenal at home, you've got great records. St James Park fans, intimidating place to go there, etc. And a lot of people don't also realise, mate, there's a little bit of a slope at St James's Park as well. There is. On the TV, you can't see, but there's a little bit of a slope up there. And Gallagher down here sucks the ball in down that other end, mate. So there is definitely. But when you play away from home, mate, you just, like I say, you need good performance and you need a bit of luck on your side. However, what I see at Brentford and West Ham, I did think that it was a very poor performance from Eddie Howe and a Newcastle side.
Absolutely.
Listen, just the last one on that, you think he's under pressure?
Nah, he's got too much, like you said about Slot. He's got too much in the bank, and I mean, he's got, he took over when they were bottom, saved them, Champions League next season, and the season after that, he's won a cup, the first one in 70 years.
Yeah.
So I think, and they view him, the owners view him as an elite coach.
Yeah.
But what the only thing I'd say is, some of the bigger teams now, they've got bigger coaching setups, and
Yeah.
perhaps maybe he has to look at expanding that. He's got Graham Jones in there, obviously Jason and a few others. But I'd say, yeah, I mean, it was a big result because you go into that Christmas period and they've got Everton
Yeah.
away next, and then they've got Spurs at home. So, if he lost a couple more, there was what every fan base is like. I think he's got too much in the bank, and he genuinely, for me, and I've seen a lot. I've been going since '80s, so I've seen a lot of managers. He's genuinely the best coach I've seen up there.
Yeah, well, there you go. Then he's obviously got enough in the bank, and I didn't think he would. I like to say, you hear the murmurs, and because the home form was good, the away form, the expectations of obviously Newcastle and the hierarchy, etc., it was almost like, can he take them to the next level where they want to go? And I think he certainly can. Newcastle fans will probably already expect this anyway, but I certainly see him in the future as being England manager. I really do.
Yeah, and of course, let's not forget they're having a decent old time out in the Champions League as well, looking all right in that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, listen, you mentioned a couple of teams there that I wanted to touch on. You mentioned like West Ham and Brentford. So let's look at the bottom now. I was looking this weekend, and I think it was something you said just a couple of weeks back. And you were saying in one of your spots about how it's pivotal. People can start to settle down after that last international break, which we've just had. That's when the business end starts. And I'm looking at these promoted teams now. I'm looking at Leeds, who are struggling big time. Burnley, struggling. And I wanted to say, I mean, Sunderland have had a great start, right? Let's have it right. They've been phenomenal. But that's a poor result for them going to Fulham and not picking up a result. And I'm looking at their next 5 games. They've got the likes of Liverpool, City, Arsenal all coming up. Do you think the pressure comes on to those promoted teams at Christmas?
Yeah, of course, because that's when tough fixtures comes, time of year, battling, etc., etc. But also, that's where you need to have enough points in the back to give yourself to be in this position now. Now we're like, we 5 months now? Is it 4 months till the March? So it's total football now. There's no break, etc., etc. What I like about it, the 3 of them, yes, they are. The 2 out of the 3 are, so you say, down in where you'd expect them all to be, right? 2 are. But there are other teams in there, and they're looking around and thinking, yeah, other teams, they might have enough to get out of it. However, the performances and the points they've got, like Wolves, for argument's sake, in my eyes, Wolves are done. Like Wolves, I think that I've looked at it like they can't win a game. They look like they're all over the place. Watched them against Palace the weekend, like they haven't got nothing there, right? So I look at Burnley and Leeds, and do you expect them to be down and fighting in that bit? Yes, I said Sunderland would stay up. I said Sunderland would stay up at the start of the season. I certainly did. And I think Burnley and Leeds will be down the bottom. Because the hard bit is you've got to get goals. Like the promoted teams don't score a lot of goals. And listen, that's something Sunderland's certainly done, and they've been brilliant at home. And they would be disappointed about going to Fulham and not getting a result, right? They certainly would. But I feel like they've got enough. Nobody expected them to get a point like home with Arsenal and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. And I've said it loads of times. And Granit Xhaka for me, because I did say it when I thought Wirtz would be the sign of the summer when it comes to we doing the early predictions, right? But a sign of the summer from now so far has been Granit Xhaka for everything that he brings. And I know it probably hurts you speaking about Sunderland, right? I certainly do. But then you look at it, it's like on the flip side away from them. You look at Leeds and Burnley, and I look at Leeds when they played Villa yesterday and got beat, and they wasn't great. The only positive thing from the Leeds side and what came out of the game for me is the Leeds goal counted, because it wasn't a foul on Martinez, challenged for the ball, it wasn't strong enough, ball goes in. How many times have we seen all across world football, Premier League football, EFL, when someone jumps up with a goalie and they give a foul? And it's like, oh, this is ridiculous. They could jump up, full hands, knee in the back, never gives any, do you know what I mean? So it was one for the good guys on Saturday.
But you see, for me, you look at Burnley and Leeds, and in spells they play well, and that's got to be the worry that
but it ain't enough, though,
for 30, it's not enough, is it?
spells, mate, ain't enough, and you get punished. But you know that you get punished, and if you don't score when you're on top, then there's gonna be a problem. There was at Turf Moor. Turf Moor's a tough place to go. It's cold, windy, horrible, and you've got to make it horrible for the opposition team. And listen, Chelsea went there and that ultimately showed their golfing class, didn't they? Really.
Looking good, Chelsea, by the way. Not many people have.
Not
they're
many
going
are.
under the radar, aren't they?
Yeah, not many people are. I like the boy Estavio, the young kid.
Yeah.
Brazilian fella, 18-year-old, real good. Delap's just coming back from a stupid sending off that he got. João Pedro coming in brilliant. They still got Cole Palmer out. I actually went. This is now when Chelsea played Tottenham a couple of weeks ago. With my son and my mate and his kids and that, and their season ticket holders at Tottenham. And we went and watched. Don't get me wrong, Tottenham were hopeless, right? But Chelsea were really good and starved them for what it is. And I was so, this is going to sound stupid. The guy cost 105 million from Benfica as a World Cup winner. But what I see when you watch it live, what you can't pick up on the TV, mate, is how good Enzo Fernandez is and what he does for that Chelsea football club. For me, he was brilliant on the day. They moved Reece James into the middle of the park, pivotal to keeping him fit for England come the summer. But Chelsea are building something there. And it's almost now to the point, Pete, when do you put in them? When is their target winning the Premier League? Now, I'm not sure it is this year, but when is it? When is it?
You know what? They're up there, but it brings me nicely into Arsenal. Again, I mean, I didn't fancy Spurs even before the game yesterday for a derby game as well. No. Spurs just lost their way a little bit, but we'll come on to them. But is this Arsenal's year? Is it theirs to chuck away?
Of course, yes. But it was theirs 2 years ago to throw away when they threw it away when Man City would chase them down. They threw it away. Didn't have enough to get over the line. Comes to the summer and they're like, right,
what's different?
Well, they say come to the summer and they say need a striker. Striker's not been doing it for them, right? But the pivotal point is they got players in positions. When players are out, people have come in. Saka was out, Madueke was playing. Madueke's out, Saka's in there. For years, people say, oh, Trossard, bit part player for Arsenal, didn't really see it. But been phenomenal. Great ball from Moreno, touch. Goal yesterday from Trossard. Moreno could go and play up top there. It's phenomenal. He plays down the middle. Like he's been brilliant. He's been standing for him. Now they've got positions in everywhere. But for me, one of their biggest things, mate, was signing Eze. And people were saying, where do you fit him in? Where do you off the left in the 10? Yes, he scored 3 goals yesterday. Yes, he was phenomenal in the game. He was the match winner, right? But he is now someone that can open up and unlock a game of football. And this is not something to be surprised about because we see it at Crystal Palace. For years, we see it at Crystal Palace. And you speak to QPR fans, and he was doing it for QPR in the Championship as well. So it's no surprise to the QPR fans. It's no surprise to Crystal Palace fans or actually Premier League fans because we see it all for the last, 2.5, 3 years.
Funny enough, my brother-in-law's QPR, so I get. Eze's amazing. Yeah, he loved him at QPR. Every time we see Eze, my brother-in-law's on it. Yeah, good stuff. But I mean, let's look at Spurs. Thomas Frank went in there, and people were going, yeah, you know what, he's changed it up a little bit, but of late they just look that Spurs. They just look that soft touch, don't they? And they've got nothing up top.
Oh, that's what I was saying. When I was there against Chelsea, they had no one up top. It was just, I think Charlie doesn't want to play up there. Richarlison, I can't really buy into. I wouldn't want him at my football club if I was a supporter. Like, just irritating.
A nuisance, isn't he?
Yeah, he's he's irritating. Yeah, he scores the goal yesterday. And I think, do you know what sums him up is when he didn't let a young kid take the penalty in the Champions League. And then he went, it was like, how about you, Wally? Yeah, they're all over the place, mate, like Spurs are. But you say, right, so he's got about different eyes on. So if Thomas Frank's having a tough run at Brentford, it's a very different way of having a tough run at Tottenham, right? Different eyes, expectation. Spurs expect being a top 4, top 6. Try and get in the Champions League. Try and go on a run at the Champions League. I get it. They've done a change through the summer, but arguably Spurs as a club are looked at no differently than what there was with Ange. Look, Ange, they was attacking, they were so open, they was poor. At the moment, what I'm seeing at the moment is Spurs are doing exactly the same. Nothing. They've got nothing. If they take Van der Ven out of the team, and the old boy Romero, they're done. For me, they're buying Xavi Simons in, everyone's expectations. I was going to really. People don't realise how tough the Premier League is, mate. People don't realise how tough the Premier League is. Players come over from the foreign leagues, etc., come in, try and think they're going to hit the ground running, as fans you expect them to do for the money that gets spent. But the robustness of the Premier League is tough.
Yeah.
And it's tough for 38 Premier League games.
Yeah, you've got you and also as well. You're asking us about Newcastle fans, about managers and having it in the bank. Spurs fans are notorious. He'll not get long, before they start on him.
Well, this is the thing, and that result wouldn't go well yesterday. And it's all right him coming out saying, "I apologise to the fans." Well, that's probably something that's just. Oh, I'm sorry. What do you mean? Just lost to North London Derby 4-1.
And he set up to go. He set up right. He thought they were going to. I watched the first 5 minutes of 10 minutes, and they were going to do that. They were going to be physical. They were going to slow the game, and none of that worked. And they got caned 4-1.
Problem is when you set up for doing that, right? When you set up for doing that, you've got to really stick by it and really stop at everything and be slow and make sure nothing actually happens through it, Pete, and not let Arsenal get this in. But Arsenal will top the Premier League. They're at home at the Emirates. North London Derby, they was going to come out all guns blazing. So it's all right saying you can slow the game down, but you've got everyone to buy into it. At the moment, Spurs is just Spurs. It's just Tottenham. Like we talk about them every year when they play well, when they don't play well. They're just in there as they're better than the other half of the Premier League teams that are in there. But they're never going to warrant being up the top. We play like 5 games and Spurs, and look how many points we've got in the top 4. Mate, listen, it will happen. They'll fall off the cliff and then they'll just find their place and just mellow out. It's Tottenham.
It is Tottenham. So from the weekend, then, who's your biggest winner? Who takes CHaz as winner? It's got to be
Arsenal, and they scores a hat-trick in the first North London derby. Mind you, let's not forget about a team that wanted to sign him and he chose to go to Arsenal because he's an Arsenal fan, right? And I'm a big advocate for this. If Havertz doesn't get injured, he signs for Tottenham.
Okay.
Well, that's what I think, because Havertz got injured around that same time and then it kind of went across. So I think Eze and Arsenal were the big winners for me, massive winners. They just, look, they're really motoring now and it is their time.
Biggest losers of the weekend.
Oh my! I've said enough about Tottenham, but I think as a Liverpool fan, this is going to hurt me. But you're going to have to say Liverpool are the biggest losers this weekend, because they're at home to Nottingham Forest. Yeah, not always great against Forest, but at the moment, listen, you could have done without that 3-0 home defeat. No one wants to get beat at home 3-0, and defending champions just lost.
Okay, so look, let's turn our attentions to the weekend, because finally we're into a run of games. As you said, those international breaks are banished. Picked out a couple of games over the weekend. There's some crackers actually for you to get your teeth into. First up, it's Everton against Newcastle, which could be a really decent game. It's the late game again on the Saturday, so again, it's away from home for Eddie.
But that's what it means, Pete. Like, you've got to look at Hill Dickinson Stadium as a tough place to go. It's been at the start of the season. They've been brilliant at home. Everyone's really bought into the new stadium, the new vibe, the effect of it, right? They've got Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, and Dye out there on there. Brilliant, right? They've got them, like, they've real got it going. Maybe centre forwards. But for me, Beto tries as hard as he can, right? He really does. He tries as hard as he can, but can he really get over the line? But it's not really a worry factor for me. It's the midfield 3 are the one. They've been really good at the back. Michael Keane's been good for them. It's just what team, I've got to be honest, for me, I feel like it's just what team turns up. Newcastle side. If you get the Newcastle team on Saturday night, it's going to be a hell of a game. But if you get the Newcastle team that turn up at West Ham and Brentford, it's going to be a home win.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. It's you just hit the nail on the head. You don't know. I've said this for years, even as good as Newcastle have been after their years in the doldrums, Newcastle fans always say they never know which tune are going to turn up. So let's see. The other one I picked out, which is interesting, Palace Man United. We haven't mentioned much about Man United, obviously, but has Amarim, has he turned it around?
I think he's getting the players in to play for Man United. I think the biggest thing is, for me, is Matheus Cunha's the first Man United player to come in and wear the shirt and look like a Man United player.
Yeah.
Look, and really.
What about Mbeumo?
Another one, done really well. I'm kind of overshadowing him a bit because of the goal scoring, etc. But for me, he's fitted in, but I'm looking at it from the person that carries the shirt and looks like. I'm not saying Mbeumo doesn't look like a Man United player, by the way. I'm not saying that one bit. What I'm saying is that Cunha really carries that shirt and the weight of the team, and it kind of frees up Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro, by the way, has been phenomenal this year. I know he's been getting a lot of stick in his eyes. He's old, he can't do this, can't do that. It's been brilliant for Manchester United. Do I think he's turning it around? He's certainly turning it around. Has he turned it fully around? No, but he is turning it around.
Okay, and Palace, are you impressed?
How can you not be impressed with them? They lose players every year, and just all of a sudden unearth more and more. Munez play at the fullback, scores goals for fun, a great attacking fullback, can defend. Adam Wharton, if fit, should be. But it should be in the England squad. But also you've got Elliot Anderson at Forest, right, who's running them close, and he's got the shirt at the moment. Brilliant. The boy that plays up top for them, Mateta, for me, just. Great story from him. Become French international only recently. Was 28, 29. It's fantastic for him. The boys Sarr and listen, Palace are.
He's old school as well, Mateta, and he proper old school.
I like it, mate. I like it. But you've got to give credit to Crystal Palace, and you've got to give credit to Oliver Glasner. He's really got his team playing in that way. FA Cup winners could have gone through the summer and just planted through, and we got European football, etc., because of that. Kept hold of Mark Gay, that's a massive thing. Yeah, they may lose him in January, of course, because Liverpool are probably going to come and try and take him then. But for me, the biggest thing is that manager's got his whole team, and when one player goes, it seems like they've got a replacement there. They lost Eze, by the way. Let's not forget. Scored the winner for him in the FA Cup. They lose him, and they don't look like they've lost him.
Interesting. I love Adam Wharton as well. He sort of doesn't get enough credit. I think some of the big clubs will be looking at him. He's one of those players. He looks like, when you see as a fan, right? You go, how's he got that much time on the ball, and he doesn't waste it.
The good players make themselves have so much time, Pete. That's the thing. People don't realise. When they say, "Why is he getting closed down? Why has he got so much space? Why is it?" No. The good players give themselves enough time on the ball.
Okay, so we've talked about Liverpool's troubles. They go to West Ham. Is that a blessing, or do you think it could be a banana skin? Or
you say a blessing? No game in the Premier League's a blessing, right? But you go into that London Stadium, and I've said it very few times before. The London Stadium's rubbish because the fans are too far away from the pitch. You can't build an atmosphere. Liverpool a good record. No, they don't like it,
do they? The fans
the team against the board already. Liverpool got a good record down there, and the way West Ham are going, they're more missed than hit. Nuno's trying to turn it around there and get the certain players in there, but you've got to fancy an away win there because yes, but Liverpool come off bad results and bad form and just lost 3-0 at home to Nottingham Forest. But Liverpool got to be expecting to go to West Ham and winning, regardless of coming off any result.
They're 2 up at the weekend as well. I was like, I kept having to check that they were 2 up at Bournemouth because Bournemouth going so well, and then they threw that away.
Up and there's 2-0 away from home. They take off the centre forward, which is Callum Wilson, and bring us Thomas Souček. So for as long as he's been in the Premier League and I've watched the football, that is a midfielder, no? Who scores goals every now and then. Not a number 9 centre forward. So what is Nuno thinking? He's taking Callum Wilson off the biggest goal threat. He's on a hat trick. Who, by the way, would want to get his hat trick. And then look what happens. And I was lucky to stay in the game, by the way. They was lucky to only come away with a point in the end.
Okay, London Derby again. Another great. This one I'm really looking forward to because it's 2 teams we've just said. One going under the radar, one whose title it is to throw away. You got Chelsea, Arsenal, which is going to be fascinating this weekend.
It's going to be massive. It really is. And I think this could be the game where Chelsea really step up and everybody kind of takes way more notice of what it is, right? They're at home, Stamford Bridge, going to play and do what they need to do. But it's one of them where it's what Arsenal team's going to turn up. I mean, if they're going to be the ones that have the flag bearers to go and grab hold of that Premier League, this is the places you need to go. This is where you can go and win titles, is by picking up 3 points at Stamford Bridge. Flip side to that is Chelsea will be thinking, right, just game on now. We can stop them and close the gap. And that they're full of confidence at the moment, and rightly so.
Is it fair to say, though, Chelsea are flattered to deceive this season? Just when you think that Chelsea are maybe there or thereabouts, they've got inconsistencies, and then they turn in a performance where you go, oh,
they need experience. They need experience. Like people say, I need centre half experience. Someone experience. You've got World Cup winners in your team, but I totally understand where they're coming from, because arguably when he come to the Premier League at 37, 38. Thiago Silva took it like a duck to water, mate, and he was phenomenal. So if that's all Chelsea are away, and they have little rumours about the goalkeeper, they want a different goalie in, but they've had so many goalies in the last 4 or 5 years. In the summers, Rob Sanchez does brilliantly in the Club World Cup, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's Chelsea's number one. Now, if they could change the goalie, they would. But they do fancy, and it just and that inconsistency, I think, comes from the inexperience from other players. If they get that right, like I say, I don't think they're far away at all.
Not far away at all. So we're not far away from a weekend, and that concludes our business for the first episode of CHaz Kicks Off in the company of the main man, Charlie Austin. We'll be back next week, picking the bones out and looking at Chaz's heroes and zeros. Until then, mate, we will see you then.